And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a
this is ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Oh yeah. Welcome to another episode of To the Head with Brian Parker. I am Heath. That me? That me, Lauren? Yes. Know why that's me. For one second.
Like I said, your signal's a little rough today. But welcome everybody to another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. He is he. I don't know, maybe it's me. Oh, well, as we're trying to sit here and to shift and work with the audio, I am Lori Parker. I am she. And welcome to Head to Head. We thank you for joining us for another fun-filled, packed episode of craziness and things that we're going to sit here and to talk about. I know I have Brian Parker who's working on his audio, but let me introduce the one and the only, the franchise, the one who brings everyone to the show, and who also is our resident expert. Jermaine Parker, how are you doing today? Jermaine, can you hear me? Hello? Jermaine? Okay, so I guess I'm going to be talking by myself. Brian, you need to unmute yourself because I can't talk to Jermaine. Jermaine, can you hear me? I can't really hear you. Okay, so as they're working on their audio, might be this one, but yes, I am Lori Parker. So we're going to have a fun-filled episode of this evening, and we're going to sit here and actually talk about a lot of things that have been going on, especially a lot of the memes on Black Twitter, Black Threads, or whatever. Hey, Jermaine Parker, can you hear me now?
I got you now. I got
you. Okay.
I switched to
all right. Laptop. Well, welcome to the show. You were sorely missed. But we're so glad that you're going to be here and we're going to be talking about a lot of things that have been going on in the news. But let me try to help in with Brian because he does all of the prior announcements. But I want to say to everyone, thank you so much for joining the show, and thank you for watching us on YouTube, Facebook. Oh, there he goes. Hi, Brian. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I don't know what the heck happened. My I got so much stuff connected and everything, and it just started giving me all this feedback, and I knew there was no way I was going to be able to do the show without it. How you doing, franchise?
Yo, I'm doing good, brother. Good to see you.
Good. So, yes, thank you, Lori, for metering through that. I do appreciate that. Yes.
I was trying my best. Because my sign says that I run the show.
Yeah, about that.
We don't do this without you.
It's great negotiation time. But anyway, listen, thanks for joining Head to Head. I am Brian Parker. I am Heath. And we are tuned in for another week. We do this live, like Lori said, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we also air our show on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Can I share something with y'all real quick, though?
Sure.
All right. I done broke everything else, so hopefully I don't mess this up too. All right, let's see if
Well,
we
if
can.
not, I'll just run interference, so it's all good.
All right, let's see if this is going to work. Let's see if you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming up now. Yes.
All right, check this out. So everybody, if you have Roku, or even if you don't have Roku, you can always check out our Roku and our content by going to parkermediacompany.com. When you do that, it will actually bring you to our landing page on Roku. It doesn't give you access to every Roku channel, just to let you know that, but it does bring up Empower TV Network. And within Empower TV Network, there is a video on demand category where you can see all of the content that we have, whether it's our head-to-head show, head-to-head sports that we'll talk about in just a second. I mean, it's a little slower because I'm sharing the screen. So it'll show you head-to-head. It'll show you any films that we have, any music videos. So the first 3 shows of season 4 are already loaded. And then you can see there's some other content. There is plenty of content on here in case you are tired of reruns. There's podcasts, some of them Christian, some of them just straight other podcasts and things like that as well. There's also a live stream option as well. And the live stream will be anything that I've added to the programming that day, and it's just caught on the live stream. I want y'all to see this on the live stream, though. What's currently on the live stream. So there's your live stream, hit your play button, and hopefully it doesn't take forever to load, and it'll show you exactly what people are seeing on Roku right as we speak. What is that? That's us right now.
It's still loading, but it's coming, and we know that it is.
Oh, still loading?
I think so, yes.
Hold on. Jermaine, can you see it, or is it still loading on your end?
You need some Google Fiber, man.
Yeah, well, our internet signal.
Listen, I think we might have Windstream.
There
I think we might have Windstream.
You can't see it now?
I said you can't get your internet from outside the gas stations. All I know.
Man, no, I mean, I got some DVDs the other day from the same cat, so I figured that the internet would be just as good.
I got some pills out of there, and I think I need to go see a doctor.
Is it still loading for you?
No,
I mean, the Chiron is starting to go, but I can't see anything. It's just a black box.
The funny thing is now it's loading into infinity.
Oh Lord.
No, Xfinity.
I got these comedians. But anyway, and I just turned it off in case you guys didn't figure that part out. So basically what I was able to do was now instead of just tri-casting, now we're quadcasting on Roku live as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I was able to add the Roku feed into the actual. Well, I'm sorry, we're quintcasting because anything that we put into the Roku feed automatically goes into the Amazon Fire TV Live as well. So Amazon Fire TV, Roku, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn are all broadcasting this show all at the same time. How about that?
Nice.
That is awesome.
All right, and I work on the Xfinity stuff. Even though we
I really think it's like Windstream. I think it's Windstream.
Look,
I think Windstream just kind of cut in the feed.
Road runner, damn it! So get it right. Ain't nothing wrong with my spectrum. Anyway, I hope, and I'm so glad my mic sounds so much better now. So my mic sounds nice. Man, we got so many things to talk about. Oh Lord, which is kind of funny because Friday. I'm not sure you know this, Lord, but this is something really cool. Friday is actually the 50th birthday, which you should kind of know because you're 50, of hip hop.
Woohoo!
Hip hop turns 50 officially on Friday. I know some of the award shows had already been celebrating it this year, like the BET Awards and stuff like that. But y'all, 50 years of hip hop. And when you think about it, I mean, I was just kidding, Laura. I know we're 49. I just turned 49 as well last Friday, so I did have my birthday too. So that means that hip hop literally started a year and a week before I was born. That's absolutely crazy. Um, Man, that's a long time to basically gone all my life with hip hop. But the early years, of course, from the crib, I ain't know nothing about no hip hop. But when y'all think about hip hop, and audience, if y'all are out there, y'all are part of this show. So, sound off if you like. But, I mean, there's just so many artists that have come through hip hop. And I'm going to be honest with you, Lori. You know, New York represented the hip hop movement, like, hands down. If somebody want to push up against that, I know ATL got some things going later on when So Def came along and stuff like that. But between the East Coast and the West Coast, especially to me, East Coast, there's just so many rappers. And when you start thinking about, man, where were they based? Whether it was Biggie, Nas, all these guys, Slick Rick, Grandmaster Flash, the Jungle Brothers, Black Sheep, Salt and Pepper, SWV, all these groups came out of New York City. DMX, Black Rob, Diddy. I could keep going and going. That's all New York. I mean, where you're from, Lord? I mean, in Brooklyn and Queens definitely represented. We got Nicki Minaj there. We got Cardi B there. We got Ice Spice for some of you newer people. So, man, hip hop has just took over, evolved. It started out as, we had break dancing and stuff like that. And then it evolved into a lot of crossovers and things like that, where it was just totally one section of people, and then other genres started kind of attaching to it as well. Now it's in commercials and stuff. When you think about even on the other side of guys like Ice-T and Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, those names used to just be straight gangster rap and things like that, and they became mainstream where people recognized them in movies and everything else. So hip hop has really evolved and taken over. And I just want to take a second and, open it up to y'all about your thoughts about hip hop turning 50 years old. I mean, it's pretty dope. Or as the young kids say, no cap.
I'm not sure they say that anymore.
Thank you. I think they've moved on.
Yeah. No. They definitely still say no cap. Okay. I heard it recently.
Okay.
I get this on good authority. I have a young person that I talk to all the time. So not in a Pee Wee Herman kind of way, but just, every now and then.
Okay.
Speaking of which, rest in peace to you too, Paul Rubens. He just passed recently too, aka Pee Wee Herman.
All you need is the suit. That's all you need right now.
No, I really don't need that suit.
Yes, you do.
I have a purple suit that's a lot better. So
no, it is not.
I may get it during the break.
I think to your question and stuff, I think it's a milestone, definitely. We always talk about the culture, and so that's one of the things, right? Is that's part of the culture that's helped define. And it's amazing too for people who are denied access to their culture and having it suppressed and stuff to be able to reinvent themselves and not just in a way that was meaningful just to us, but also in a way that was meaningful to the world. Think about the influence that hip hop has had on fashion and design and art and movies. Everything to the Happy Birthday song being rewritten to how we serve our food and how we name things and conventions like that. So big ups to hip hop.
Yeah, no doubt. Even you remember the halftime show back in a couple years ago when it had Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dre, and everybody out there, man. And people my age are sitting on Facebook talking about, man, I'm gonna be hurt up tomorrow, but they were getting down and stuff like that. So something that kind of seemed on the fringe, though, Jay, a long time ago, where people were like, you know, they tried to call it thugs and this and that and the other, has been embraced by people of all walks of life now. It's kind of funny. You even see Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart, you know, two things that you wouldn't even think you would see together. Or, you know, like you said, in the world of fashion, how it leads fashion and those types of things. So it's come a long way, but a lot of those roots circled around Grandmaster Flash, Slick Rick, Human Bebops, all those cats back in the day. If they could see Run DMC, if they could see what hip hop had evolved into, man, it's just absolutely crazy. Also, got to say, rest in peace to DJ. Oh man, for the shuffle.
Cha-cha slide.
Yeah, the Cha-Cha Slide. He just recently passed as well, so that just popped up in my head too. I'm sorry, but yeah, hip hop is just, man, it's crazy. So I'm gonna ask y'all this. I ain't gonna go into no long debate about it. Greatest rapper, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm ever okay. But I'm gonna say
you know what? That might not be fair. Give me your top 5. If I say give me a Mount Rushmore of rappers, and you could put 5 on Mount Rushmore.
Dr. Seuss. Very underrated. Very underrated.
Yes, he is.
But
yeah, absolutely.
The man hits, and everybody knows it.
Well, anybody that can probably get somebody to eat some green eggs and ham probably does need to be on some Mount Rushmore.
I'm just saying. I think people would agree, not in order maybe. For me, it's just an era too, right? You know, just an era. You know, just kind of like the basketball debate kind of thing, or football debate. You know, but for my era and stuff, it's got to be Pac and Biggie and Nas have got to be 3 to automatically make it on there. I think after that, it kind of gets to be preference and stuff about what you like. I think a lot of people don't. If you were not from the era and stuff, you might not know how good Big Daddy Kane was. Big Daddy Kane, and still not was, is amazing. And then I throw in there LL Cool J, and that's my top 5.
Man, I wasn't thinking about Hollis's own LL Cool J. Yeah, I thought maybe you're gonna go with Quapain or something.
You know, and so so why does LL make the list and stuff? Because he's a pioneer of the. You know, we talk about the. You know, it's been 50 years and stuff. And if LA isn't I Need Love, if he isn't smashing people down, if he isn't going crazy and stuff, maybe hip hop doesn't get as big as it does. Because one of the things that when I talk about the influence of hip hop is its impact worldwide on people outside of just black people and stuff. And LL was one of those crossover, I say Beastie Boys because young white kids could identify with Beastie Boys and stuff, right? But you had to have somebody mainstream in the genre, a black man, to carry that torch that they could relate to, and he became commercialized before Hammer. For that reason, is a big
man. Yeah, about Hammer. Hammer went straight commercial. Hammer made people really have to accept hip hop because of just the flash and the style that he did with a lot of his things.
Listen to the stories about Hammer. Hammer was actually a gangster. So, but don't sleep on Hammer because he has a sequel. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
now I know you can put salt and pepper in there, Lori.
Enjoyed it, but no. If I was going to go with the ones that, in reflecting on hip hop, and especially, I guess when I was younger and waiting or staying up late to watch Video Music Box to get all of the underground videos and rap videos at the time. So if I have to put on my top 5, I'm going to go with Rakim, Nas.
Yeah.
Rakim, Nas, Big Daddy Kane. Love me some Big Daddy Kane. That's 3. Love him. Definitely gotta go with Brooklyn on Biggie.
Yeah.
Biggie. That's 4. And then I'm gonna go with LL Cool J.
Yeah. Fact. You know what? The greatest thing about that Mount Rushmore, you can't really go wrong. I mean, you know, like you said, we're not gonna go with order, but I would go Biggie. I would go Wu Tang. I would go
You throw the whole group in there?
the whole group. I'm going Wu Tang.
Okay.
I'm going Nas.
Now, it is
If you're
tricky.
gonna go Wu Tang, you can definitely go faced,
Yeah.
RZA,
It's,
Jizza,
Red.
Method. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the entire group.
That,
Yes.
that doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem fair.
Because that's like
I
I've been talking about. And Natasha,
Get the money.
Natasha brought my point. Women. I was going. That was my next one. MC Light. That's my baby. I'm all MC Light. Honorable mention.
Queen Latifah. Again,
Latifah.
but there's many others. Like you can MC Light, Queen Latifah, Moni Love.
Moni
Oh,
Love.
man, Moni Love.
Moni in the middle.
Yes, Moni. Definitely up there. Yeah, Tasha. I definitely don't want to forget my ladies because they came hard and they came with it. When you talk about what Latifah was able to do, has been able to do, hell, she the damn equalizer. She's sitting there killing people on CBS as we speak.
She done took over for
Yeah, I don't watch all the
carry the torch.
I'm waiting for Robin McCall to come back for season 4. I gotta have me some more Queen Latifah. Is it believable that she beating all these people's asses? Not really, but it's still exciting to watch. But she's done so much, whether it was Living Single, whether it was just all of the records and things that Latifah's been able to do. Same thing with MC Light, doing her acting and doing her producing and all of the things that she's done, Salt and Pepper, they were able to maintain. And, you know, and I give the females a lot of credit because in the music game, being a female, it's hard, number one, people to take you seriously past maybe your looks and stuff like that. And I'll give you a perfect example. Yo-Yo, man, I used to love some Yo-Yo. I know she wasn't a rapper, but I love some Michelle Lay. I mean, there were just some folks, ladies back in the day, man, that, hey,
JJ Fad.
You only got Supersonic out of them, though, right?
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, if the part of the reason, like, I end up in Rakim could replace LL for me, but when I talk about LL, if I start singing his songs, people start singing along.
Right.
And I just don't. And even though some of them, and that's kind of the deal, right? Is that there have been a lot of great lyricists who are not popular.
Correct.
And so when you think about around Mount Rushmore, you think about not only talent but popularity too. It's kind of a popularity contest.
Yes, that's a great point, Jay. Because that Mount Rushmore, to your point, probably is more that impact. You know, not just the underground tapes and all that kind of stuff, but who has been able to take their career from hip hop and become a even bigger brand. And LL definitely has done that. I mean, no doubt, probably more so than almost any of them. Is what he's been able to do, taking that platform and not just putting it in front of the kids out in Queens or the kids out in Brooklyn, but being able to get it globally, not just, you know, US wide, but globally. So when you know, LL can't go anywhere without people knowing that this is LL. He ain't never gonna just walk in somewhere and people are gonna go.
Well, I do want to also throw in, because again, if I'm thinking of favorites, I also love me some Eric Sermon.
Yeah, EPM or KRS-One.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, a lot of talented MCs, but I think again, when I talk about Mount Rushmore and stuff, because a lot of people argue about who's a better rapper, and that's a different category
totally
of people and stuff. But when I think about upfront faces, because that's what Mount Rushmore is, it's the faces of hip hop. I think universally, when you go Pac, Biggie, Nas,
and then you start getting into messages and the actual lyrics that they put on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because with LL, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is pink cookies in a plastic bag getting crushed by buildings.
I don't care, but I was singing it. No idea. I was with it though.
I was with it too. You know,
And it was hard with it too. It was hard.
They got me into sitting there, you know, all the time. Sam.
Well, Brian, you know, since hip hop is celebrating its 50th anniversary birthday, and you know, technically, when you were born the next year, you probably had like a little mini baby Kango on, didn't you? And you was trying to break dance in the crib, wasn't you?
These are things that I have to put on our after hours program that'll be coming soon. You know. Talk about that.
Again, let's not go there on your after hours activities, because that's just not. We're not going to talk about that.
There's some pimping and stuff that was also involved.
No, we're not going to go there. No.
Lori, well, you actually asked, but I'm just giving people a preview. If you go to Devin Long or OnlyFans, I do that.
Okay, and we're going to say no to that. Thank you. Moving on to the next topic.
Wow, well, she just put a bow on it, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Well, you know, next topic, just briefly, you know, Tory Lanez popped up in the news again this week. He actually had his sentencing. He was found guilty last year of 3 charges, assault with a firearm, illegal possession of a firearm, and negligent discharge of a firearm in the case of being intoxicated and pointing a gun and discharging and shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. And Megan, over the years, has taken so much criticism from even naming Tory in this as her assailant. He didn't do it. It was somebody else. She doesn't know. She didn't see it. Even people now talking about she only got grazed, as if that makes it okay. You know, I shot at him, but I only nicked him. Like that doesn't make it, you know, better. Yeah. And judge sat there, and the defense counsel was really trying to get him probation and stuff like that. He cited he needed some rehab, and he needed to be around his son and stuff like that. But none of that stuff really helped him. He was sentenced to 10 years. I'm sure that'll begin sometime soon. But yeah, Tory Lanez is going to go away for 10 years for injuring Megan Thee Stallion that way. Hopefully people will move on and stop giving Megan such a hard time about, you know, she was a victim. And, you know, this whole thing about harassing victims because you like somebody or things like that just never makes any sense to me. It makes it why a lot of times victims don't like to speak out, because a lot of times they don't get taken seriously. And we can't vilify somebody when they actually are the victim. Lori?
Well, I mean, we would have to sit there and ask the same things that other people have done with regards to Tory Lanez. We have to then look at, I guess, the other topic of talking about Trump, because he does the same thing to all of his enemies.
I ain't talking about Trump.
People that go against him.
We're going to do a Trump show soon.
I know that, but I was just, you know, but as you said, being able to, you shouldn't villainize the victim that, but at the same time, Tory Lanez must go away for the action that has taken place, regardless of whether it was an accident, however it was this one, it was then proven and presented at a court of law, and then they have just put down his sentence. So I think pray that he.
You said what? Say, Dre?
I think there's a couple things. One, unlike Trump, Tory, mainly because he's in jail, isn't attacking people. It's his family.
No, he's not.
Right. And so, and quite honestly, I couldn't tell you 3 songs that he sings. But Love is one. Okay.
That's only one I got.
Okay, I was waiting for the.
I got one. I got one. Okay. I got one on it.
And not that makes a difference, but there's a couple things.
Is that the remix song? If you mean it, say it. All that. That's a different one, right?
But I'll be honest with you, I can't name one.
I,
But that's
I don't know
because
that song either.
mainly because of me. I'm lame. But I think
It's Brown Story.
the thing with Tory Lanez is that a lot of people have to understand a couple things. Minimum sentencing guides. He had 3 charges because a lot of people are talking about it was just Grace Toad, like you said. They think it's Harlem Nights, and Meg should get over it and fix him. I love that boy. Whatever. I'm not sure they had the same relationship as Eddie Murphy had when
Right.
she took the toe off. But and the thing is that so if they have a problem with the length of it, which a lot of people, that's what I saw is like was 10 years and he just grazed it and didn't, they're minimum sentencing laws. Laura mentioned the American justice system, which isn't really that just. But it's a double-edged sword because one of the things reason that we pro minimum sentencing laws is that we don't get zealous judges out there just doing whatever they want. Although they do have that power still, even with some of these laws and stuff, they can just go overboard and stuff. But for fairness, we say that this charge equates this amount of time and stuff. And so if you look at that kind of stuff, and I know there were a lot of people who were upset about people who wrote letters for Tory Lane. And I think one of the things about that is those were his friends. Even though he made that mistake, though he still had good relationships with those people. I think Izzy
Azalea? Yeah.
She wrote a letter and everybody's up in arms about that and stuff.
You do know who she is, right?
I'll be honest with you, man. She raps. She's a white girl. She Australian. What's going on with her?
Yeah, that's it. All of that. All that's true.
Okay. All right. Well, I hit the highlights on that.
Didn't she have a child with a basketball player?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nick Young or something.
4 out of 4. There you go.
Nick Young, somebody.
Yeah. And so her defending her friend, that's just what friends do. And it happens all the time in state murder cases where family members show up for people who've been accused of heinous crimes and stuff. And to their point, the relative severity of what actually happened versus what could have happened with that. Hey, kids, don't play with guns. Number one, the couple rules of guns are they're always loaded. You never point a gun at anything that you don't plan on destroying. And they're not toys. And if you'll keep those 3 simple things in mind, that'll cut you out of 90% of your problems.
And you don't be near anyone when you're intoxicated, because your judgment level goes down even more. He had it in the car with him, and they were already left Kylie Jenner's party. They were all intoxicated, and they get into a heated argument. She gets out the car. He gets out. He's already intoxicated. Why getting out the car with your gun?
From what I can tell, he's a very small man, and and evidently he's afraid of stallions. And so I don't know if her butt's the biggest thing on her, or she really is just a big woman. I've never met her in person because I might be in jail for harassment. But the point is that, and I think there was a lot of undercurrent for the things you're talking about, the abuse and stuff, men and violence against women and stuff. There were a lot of complicated issues in there and stuff. But he's getting credited 305 days towards the sentence and stuff. He'll probably do 8 years of that. So he's talking about another 7 years that he's going to humble himself and get himself together and stuff. And hey, look, Tory still has money. There's still a good chance that he doesn't even do the 8 years.
Right.
And also because he's a Canadian citizen, he will give in after his sentence or whatever he serves. He will be deported.
Yeah, the same thing happened to.
Right.
To
who?
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. That's
because
he was a citizen of the United Kingdom. Yes.
Yeah, he got sent home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all because of you.
Let's talk about Uncle Ricky.
Oh Lord, who? Oh, you're bringing up the song. I got you.
Yeah. Put the lyrics in.
Right. Yeah, she just dropped them in anywhere. When I drop stuff, never mind. OnlyFans, Kevin Long. But Jermaine, I literally waited 2 to 3 weeks to bring this up because I couldn't think of anybody I would rather have on the show to bring this up.
Oh, okay.
I put it aside. I tucked it away. I sat on it. I bit my tongue. Blood was coming out. It was terrible. It was terrible. Because
It really was.
I wanted to speak on it, but I said, you know what? I need the franchise to do what he does best and go all in. So anybody don't know what I'm talking about, it was announced, maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm looking at an article from July the 20th that talks about Florida public schools. Now, it was, anybody doesn't know, Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, and he thinks that Florida, the country should be more like Florida. So he's going around, and his campaign is pretty much Make America Florida, because of all these great things that he's done down in Florida, whether it was the 6-week abortion ban that they've done, AP African American Studies going away because it's too much CRT in the curriculum and wokeness in the curriculum. He's passed anti-woke laws where teachers are sitting on pins and needles, not sure what to teach students. The Don't Say Gay bill, where, hey, if a teacher sits there and mentions that a man mentions he has a husband, that could get him fired and even sued. A lot of those different things that could come up could get teachers in a lot of hot water. So he wants to make America Florida. Well, his public school system down there has now taken it a step further, Jermaine, where as part of their new African-American history standards, now students will be taught that some Black people benefited from slavery because it taught them useful skills. It goes on to say that slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. So the moral of the story is, had it not been for slavery, a lot of Black folks would not have had crafts and been able to take care of themselves. Please, Jermaine.
So
what the hell is going on?
There's a lot. There's obviously a lot to unpack from this foolishness, right? Did you get that video I sent you? I sent it in Messenger to you, Brian. But as I unpack this, number one, or not in any particular order, it's not just Florida. Texas is trying to pass some of these same laws too. So there has been in this country, because of systematic racism, indoctrination through education. And so Ron DeSantis isn't new in anything he does. And quite honestly, the reason he's trailing behind, he just fired his campaign manager and hired a new one and stuff. Part of the reason he's doing all that is because he's absolutely an ass and boring and nobody wants to be around him. And so a lot of things that when you're going to be a politician on a national level, you can't be a local guy. You got to be a national appeal. And he lacks the charisma to pull that off for donors and sponsors. But his policies are far reaching. And like I said, people on pins and needles, what do we teach and stuff? Because what they basically said is, and again, this isn't, I guess the big thing for me is none of this is new. This is the playbook. And so what's funny, the same people that denied blacks' rights in the 50s, that turned hoses on them and sick dogs on them and kicked them off buses and did all this stuff, are now wanting to erase that part of their history where we don't talk about it anymore. I wonder why. Now, the whole thing about the validity of slavery and stuff, I guess his argument is that there was no other vocational way to learn these trades, that slavery was the only avenue in which these things were taught. I didn't know that you had to be a slave in order to cross over to be a carpenter or a blacksmith. That is the most ridiculous apprenticeship I've ever heard of. And so the big thing was that Florida actually put out a list of black people who they said benefited from slavery, and none
Right.
of these people were slaves.
Right.
And which is it's not it's sad, but if you talk about an institution that erases history and stuff, of course they couldn't actually do any real research about who actually was a slave and who they could have actually used, because that would require them to actually go against their own policy and actually talk about real history. And that's really the thing. But again, this is not the first time where the U.S. has edited or going, they say the victor writes history and stuff, and the U.S. has written a lot of history that isn't true. It's not just the U.S., but overall, whoever wins likes to downplay about how horrible they were in order to win. Um,
Right.
and so it's ridiculous the idea that there was any kind of benefit gained through slavery, especially. And so here's the thing too, that if you're going to tell it all. Why do we have unions for black? Why were there unions for blacksmiths and carpenters? And you had to apprentice, you had to be licensed and stuff like that. It didn't require a license until after 1865, because when black people started using those skills and stuff, white people immediately outlawed them to use those skills because they didn't want the competition, because they were actually outskilled and outclassed in those things.
Hmm.
And so what they did was they had trade associations. That's when the rise of trades and licensures and apprenticeship. Well, you can't do this thing unless you work for somebody who we've already said is good to go, and we're not going to hire any black people and stuff. So even if by his own admission that there were skills that were learned, they were immediately disenfranchised from those skills because of the degradation of black people.
Right. Right. And I mean, they did all of this for free. And a lot of these people came from where they came from already with these skills. This wasn't for a lot of people, wasn't, something that slavery taught them. And even if it was, that's still not a thing to justify that you benefited from it, because once you became free, you still weren't benefiting from it, like you said, because of all the exclusionary tactics from it. And you don't want to sit there and give a message, if not for slavery, where would black people be? Probably a lot better off,
Well, and the thing about into slavery and stuff is that 20 years after the end of slavery, there were large black communities that were doing well. And what happened with that is that white people would get pissed off. They would kill, pillage, and run people out of their communities. They would seize their property, seize their business,
Right.
all the assets and stuff. And the reason that we talk about we don't have generational wealth and stuff, and there were no and so there's separate things when we talk about reparations and stuff. When we talk about like Tulsa, I think the judge just ruled again that
Yeah.
we're not going to pay any money for that, even though we know it's a thing. We know it's a thing, and we know that people were wrong and stuff. We know there are people that are sitting on the land with the property that they took from those black people and stuff. I think one of the things that's important to note, and I'll bring this back up with a later topic, Dred Scott, that decision. So Dred Scott, for people who don't know, was a slave. He was bought by this guy who was a military officer and stuff, moved to a free state of Missouri and stuff, lived there for some years, offered his services out to other people and stuff. Well, because the officer was gone, the military and stuff. But when he died, he left Dred and his family, his wife and kids, to his sister. Well, he sued the woman's sister because he had accumulated enough money. He wanted to buy his freedom. She wouldn't let him. So he sued. The initial ruled that Dred was a free man and that he won his case. It was eventually repealed by a state Supreme Court. It went to the Supreme Court. And what the importance of all this is that we talk about laws and stuff like that, and court of law and stuff. Even though Tory Lane are minimal citizens, and how does this factor in? They said that black people could never be citizens, and therefore they had no rights. They couldn't sue in federal court because only citizens can sue other citizens, and they didn't have any rights and stuff. I say all that to say that black people have never been seen as equals in this country whether it be through the legal system, which is why they started teaching CRT and what the effects of those decisions and that they trickled down, even though some of those things were overruled or moved along, it's still the effects of those things. And so when we look at what benefit Black people could have had after slavery and stuff, well, when we were on our own communities and stuff like that, we did prosper. But every time, and again, whether it's Wilmington, whether it's Texas, whether it's Oklahoma, whether it's Florida, whether it's Chicago, the atrocities go on and on and on. And that's part of the things that they don't want you to know about the history of this country is that even though, again, indoctrination through education, where we continue Birth of a Nation. I talk about that film in the early 1900s and stuff. That depicted Black people as barbarians, especially Black men. They wanted to rape white women and stuff. But those tropes have been sprinkled in throughout our history. Ever since we stopped working for free in 1865, we've been depicted as lazy because we didn't like getting whipped and killed and maimed. And like they had this whole thing about, and Ron DeSantis, one of the literature and stuff, talking about, well, it's better to be a slave than be dead. And if anybody watched Black Panther, yeah, it's really, I sent it to you. You have to look at it after the show and stuff.
Okay.
But anybody watch Black Panther will let you know.
Said that in the movie.
That's the case. You know, we'd rather be thrown into the sea. My ancestors that died in the sea rather than be slaves and stuff. Slavery had no benefits. There was no fairy tale to it. They were not family. They were property. And that was the other thing that Dred Scott ruled is that they couldn't force her to grant Dred his freedom because slaves were property. And the Fourth Amendment says we can't illegally seize your property. So the federal government couldn't seize Dred Scott from Ferguson because he was property. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things out of that ruling and stuff. And again, know your history. This is why it's on purpose. There's a lot of heinous things out there that have happened. I think, and it's so funny because the same people who say, when we say we want to take down monuments and stuff, they're like, well, you can't erase history. We're not erasing history. We're just not celebrating it.
Right.
And so, again, we're not trying to celebrate this history, but we do want to say it happened. It was a thing. How about we do better?
Right. Learn from the history so that it doesn't repeat itself. You know, another thing that they have put in that curriculum, Jermaine, was to also teach that Black people were also perpetrators of violence during some of these race massacres. So they bring up the 1906 Atlanta race riot. They bring up 1919 DC, 1920 Ocoee massacre. They bring up 1921 Tulsa. They bring up 1923 Rosewood as instances where Black people actually were perpetrators of the violence themselves.
That's a far-reaching
because they fought back. They fought back.
That's like going to Pluto.
You know, and a lot of, and I'll tell you, if you've never read about these massacres, there's a theme to it. There was a white person that was offended by what a Black person was doing, and they went and got and rallied and came back and tore up the town and killed a lot of people. And shame on the Black people who didn't want to die quietly. Shame on the Black people who didn't want to just lay there and take it and didn't want to have their homes burned and businesses burned. Didn't want to have their wealth scattered to undeserving populace who historically had been too lazy to do their own work. I think, and I say this, you know, we're not a monolith. White people are not a monolith. When I talk about this stuff, I'm talking historically and stuff. I'm not talking about somebody who may be watching this and going, well, I've never done these things. Well, congratulations, you never participated in a race riot. I don't know what kind of cookie you want for that. But I'm not saying all white people are bad. What I'm saying there are some bad white people. And in that person looking back, well, there's bad Black people. Absolutely. I'm not arguing that. And I'm not talking about it either. I'm talking about these specific instances of white people going crazy because they were threatened by Black people, which probably is a good segue.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
into a date that will survive in infamy, that has now been called the Montgomery Tea Party Brawl. That just happened over the weekend. And, you know, people understand there's a port in Montgomery, Jermaine, where there are now riverboats and things that dock. But if you look in history, these are also ports that I'm dead. He's been waiting.
He's strapped and ready to go.
Let me tell you something. We have been live for about 50 minutes, and I guarantee you, he's been waiting 50 damn minutes or longer to pull out this folding chair. Now, I'm wondering if they got Tim on there. And I tried to keep it together for 50 minutes because I already knew that.
I'll just let you know I keep that thing on me.
See, that's how you can tell the thugs because they walk around with folding chairs. You know, that's a thug thing. People don't have folding chairs. That's a thug. You know. Hey, I don't know. Is that covered under the Second Amendment? Because I got a feeling.
Well, I open carry.
You open it.
I open carry.
Yeah, that's. Did you have to go to any kind of training for that? You know, or did they just give you the license?
Well, if you go online, you can get some training and stuff. It's called Spirit of Our Ancestors. Is a company, and they will teach you the proper way because you just don't want to be weird.
That's true. And there is a video I saw last night called "Lift Every Arm and Swing."
Yeah, lift every arm and swing. I sing that every Sunday.
Very, very inspirational. She even did an altar call at the end. I'm sitting there crying because I'm like, it was so serious. But so to give the backstory, and then I'll go into some of the stuff.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt the program.
You're great. You're great. So there was a riverboat named Harriet II that was docking in a dock that in the old days was actually used for slave trade. So Montgomery, Alabama is definitely one of the most progressive states. I'm only kidding. In the country, and these white folk had decided that they were going to dock a boat in the place where the Harriet II was supposed to dock was full of passengers, and they'd been asked to move for over 30 minutes. And the security guard, black man, came up to the group and kindly asked them to get the boat out of the way so they can dock Harriet II. Well, they didn't like being told what to do, so I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. I got a clip, and there's this woman that is commentating the whole time on it, Lori. I'm gonna go back to my screen because it wouldn't let me pull it up on my StreamYard because it was too big of a file. So that's fine. I know how to get around stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is pull it up here. I got it in this folder here, and I'm gonna play this clip, and hopefully Lori will make it to the end. Now I gotta. Where's my clip at? Lori, look. You know, I sent this to Lori because it was sent to me from Mr. Brad Coffin. Shout out to Brad.
Brad.
And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this can't be real. And for several reasons, I said this can't be real. One of them was we saw some dude jump in the water and swim over to deliver an ass whooping. So y'all take a look. This is 2 minutes long, but it is very interesting. This is the race brawl that started once the man threw his hat up in the air. See? We can handle this. Nope, we got him. Go get him, both. Go get him. We got him. We got him. There you go. Wait that. Yeah, we're gonna bait him good. But wait a minute. Whoa. Y'all stay the hell back. What are you doing, Bo? This is a private matter. Get him to him. Hell, take him down. Oh no, there's more of them. Oh,
that boy swimming his ass off now.
man. He's smoothing his ass over there. Get on the damn buck. That's Aquaman. And now they're gonna walk off like they ain't done nothing. Yeah, well, now what? Bam! Now watch your sound effects, Lori, because this was crazy. Once they started hitting, watch it. Here she goes.
Look at him. That's bad. Woo! He's dead. Woo! Oh, I got him.
Here goes the sound effect.
Woo! That what you get. That what you get. That what you get. Oh, ass up. Ooh. She went for her ass. She better put her
Water.
in the water. In the water. Ass up. Cause y'all were
They go Aquaman firing off. Do something. Boop. This is better than Batman. Boop.
He ran and jumped in the water.
One of them ran and jumped in the water to get away.
Yeah. Get in that ass. Oh, look at the brawl. Brawl jumping that ass. Cause now I'm for jumping on that black man like that, baby.
So that is the brawl. Let me bring back my thing. Okay.
I just have a comment that I feel Laquita and Ray Ray need to be on the Action News, and they need to be the new anchors and sit there and give you a play-by-play for every day. I just need to have that happen because the accuracy that they have played out for the entire brawl that was going up and down the dock was just amazing.
Amazing. And, people say, hey, why are y'all sitting there celebrating violence? And it wasn't so much people were celebrating violence. People were celebrating the fact that for a lot of African Americans, it feels like even when you're just doing simple tasks, is doing your job, you're jogging in a place where people don't think you belong. You may be walking in a place, you may be helping a neighbor cut his grass while he's out of town. There are different things that you just do as a person that's African American that seems like it just should be routine things, and people take it to another level because they feel entitled that they think that they can. And people say, well, they made it, into a black and white thing. Well, I'm sorry. Did you see any white folks trying to help this black man get up and push some of these other guys away? So once he threw the hat up in the air, it was on.
Wait a minute. No, the hat in the air is the call. So it's when the hat goes up, it's woohoo, and then that's the call.
They just figured
That's the new hootie hoo.
there was no discussion.
Yes.
Now we're able to laugh at this because most importantly, even though there was some violence and stuff like that, nobody died. Thank God nobody had guns on them that we know about that pulled them out and started firing. Otherwise, it could have gotten really bad really fast. So we are happy about that. But it was more or less black folks honestly saying to white folks, fuck around, you're going to find out. You keep on poking the bear long enough. Listen, I know, and he's in town tonight. I know we had Beyonce last night, and she shut Charlotte down. Well, at the PNC Pavilion tonight, Jermaine, guess who's out there?
I have no idea.
Jason Aldean. Now, anybody don't know about Jason Aldean? Jason just caught crap because he cut a video for a song that he had earlier in the year called "Don't Try That in a Small Town," where a lot to do with a lot of what he was saying was having to do with, I don't know why I just got all these little crazy messages YouTube. Anyway, Jason Aldean had a song, "Don't Try That in a Small Town," but nobody really paid any attention to the shot the video. I believe it was in Montgomery.
I'm not
I got
sure.
that now, but it was in front of a courthouse that had been the site of lynchings. And he also had video cuts of Black Lives Matter protests and things like that, basically kind of alluding to the fact that, hey, there's certain things that you better not come try in a small town because we all get together and we're going to make sure we ain't going to have none of that in a small town. all I'm gonna say before I show some of these crazy memes is I gotta understand the difference between a song and a call to action. That's just a song. He wasn't trying to tell y'all that shit that really happened, and you see a hat go up in the air that you need to keep fighting. When you see a hat go up in the air, you need to run. One dude figured that out and jumped in the water and tried to swim away. But yeah, he told him don't come trying that in a small town. Well, like I said, you F around, you find out. You play crazy games, you get crazy prizes. So that's what ended up happening with a lot of this. And I didn't bring all of my favorite memes, Jermaine, but I did bring quite a few. So here's one of my first ones. If I can get it up there. So talking to the chair, he was just minding his own business. Another one along the lines of the chair was it brought up that Nathaniel Alexander was a black man of all things that actually invented the folding chair.
Again, no, one of my favorites, or one of them. Unfortunately, you didn't get the favorite that I had, which is the interview with the chair.
Which one was it?
The interview with the chair.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, that was hilarious. They had the do-rag with the shoes on. They even had some Avengers.
Point of View was giving the interview. That was the best meme.
They had the Avengers circling around like Infinity War coming out.
On your left.
Yeah, on your left. And the crazy thing is that, and I was just telling somebody that today on one of my conference calls, this happened on a Saturday. You ain't hear nothing in regular media on Sunday or Monday about this, because I know they was having a meeting like, how we gonna talk about this shit?
Oh no, that's when I got a hold of it. That's when
I didn't start seeing it on real media until like Tuesday. Like Monday, I ain't see it so much. I was waiting. I was looking at MSNBC.
Nah, Monday night they had the song out.
Right.
Monday, no, they had the plan because probably someone from either Black Twitter or Black Threads had came and saw that from their cousin that was down the dock down in Montgomery, and then had to put the call out, the hoo, and then try to get everybody going, because that's when the memes started coming.
You can tell though that they know how they wanted to frame this, and then I finally saw them. I started on Tuesday morning seeing all the clips show up on MSNBC and CNN and stuff like that, where they mentioned it, but they only mentioned it really, really quickly. They ain't going on no deep dive with it. Now, if you watch Roland Martin, then Roland had about a damn 2-hour show, and he just pulling up one thing after another and cracking up, and they going back and forth with it. But let me see. We got another one. Like I said, a lot of these memes that I'm pulling up were up by Sunday and Monday. This brother right here done said, hey, I want a t-shirt. He done already figured out.
Because he was going to Cracker Barrel. He was going to Cracker Barrel for breakfast, and he had his t-shirt on.
He had the t-shirt. He was ready.
So I'm going to talk about this, and part of the reason I brought out Dred Scott earlier is that one of the things that Dred Scott said to America was, there are no rights that a black man has that have to be respected. Mm-hmm. And so that has perpetuated itself throughout our history and stuff. And when that captain, because he was captain for the boat, when the captain came over and said, hey, you need to move your boat and stuff, those white men, again, didn't respect the authority of a black man. Right. And here's a couple things that I think of when I think about that too, is that a lot of people talk about the violence and people jumping in and stuff like that. We've seen way too much, and I talk about the massacres that happened earlier and stuff, where white people have ganged up on black people and they've lost their lives. And there's nothing that says that those people were not prepared to kill him and get away with it, because we know that if you jog in the wrong neighborhood, you can be killed. if a man demands to know where you're going and all you have is an Arizona iced tea and some Skittles on you and you don't comply with that, you can be killed. If you appear to be threatening or suspicious as a black man, or you have something in your hands and stuff, again, a part of that indoctrination by education, where we say that black men are dangerous and they're animals and stuff, and we can't trust them, and they have superhero strength and they have thicker skin, and all these other BS things that we've done to turn black men into boogeymen, and black women into these boogeymen and boogie women and stuff. What I think to myself, if that man had not jumped into the water and had not swam over there, if those people had not come to his aid and stuff, we could be having a totally different discussion about what went on in Montgomery and stuff. And you can say whatever you want to, but history's on my side that says those kind of white people take it too far. Now, there are a lot of people who say that, well, they went out and they got intoxicated and stuff. And I don't know what alcohol white people were drinking that make them racist when they're drunk, but they're not racist when they're not drunk. It is amazing to me when I hear people, and there'll be a lot of white people who might, I don't know what the demographic of this audience is, but there may be some white people listening to me right now and go, it's not as bad as it used to be. And what I would say to them is, at least one racist family member. At least one racist coworker. Now, I'm not saying that you agree with them, but you know them, and they still say that shit around you. Right. How can you therefore say that it's gone away when you still hear it in your everyday life? I know you hear it because it slips up and I hear it. So if I get to hear it, I know when they feel safe, they talk about that stuff around you. Stop saying that it's getting better. It's not getting better, actually. And part of the reason it's not getting better is because we're not teaching people it's wrong and what the consequences are.
That it even exists. That it's a thing.
And so we're through that array, we're not actually healing anything. We always say in the black community, if our children can experience racism, your children can learn about it.
Right.
If it's so traumatic for them to learn about it, then how traumatic is it for us to go through it? When we look at the Battle of Montgomery, or Chertoff, or whatever we're calling it now, the Tubman 2. Whatever is being named now, what we look at is that there is some unity there. Obviously, and so one of the things you talk about was there anybody helping? I heard somebody say that there was a white guy that was helping and stuff. I didn't see it in the video, but there was a lot. There's a lot going on in that video. What I did see though was when one of the guys started attacking the captain, there was another white guy that ran in to jump on him too, who didn't ask what was going on,
right,
who was wrong, or anything like that. He just jumped in.
He did.
And so one of the things I hear, like one of the women, so they call him Unc, the guy that had the folding chair, was out there swinging that thing like he had been in WWE, and he was coming back out for a tag team match. But he hit one of the young ladies on the head several times with that folding chair and stuff. And he hit a woman. I'm like, you mean the woman that was hitting and kicking? And so here's the thing about violence. I absolutely condone violence. And a lot of people say, well, that doesn't sound good. Well, everybody condones violence. The U.S. condones violence. That's why we wage war places. The U.S. doesn't hold back and say, oh, yeah, you know what? You guys can talk shit about us. We're not going to do anything. The U.S. has historically condoned violence.
We authorize more money for defense spending than anything else.
We condone violence as a deterrent. And so I think black people as a community should say the same thing. We condone violence as a deterrent. You're not going to put your hands on us and get away with it, because and that makes us American. It makes us more American than a lot of people if we take that stance, because America says the same.
Well, they condoned it when Jason Aldean had the song. They came to his defense talking about, no, that's what you're supposed to do. You come around here and you mess with one of us, you messing with all of us, boy.
Well, I missed your conversation about that, but very briefly about that song and small town stuff. First, he's not in a small town. Secondly, when we talk about small towns, I think about sunset towns. I think about lynchings. I think about burning churches. I think about if you want to talk about small towns and their values and stuff, those small towns are the same places that they raped, lynched, and murdered black people and stuff. That's why well, that's such a dog whistle about small towns of black
Right.
people and stuff, because those are where most of the atrocities came. The reason that black people moved from the South into urban centers was for protection, because we were greater in numbers, and it was harder for things like they tried to do down in Montgomery to happen, because they knew that's not going to happen with a whole bunch of black people around. And that's why we migrated to cities. That's why they're urban areas and stuff. We didn't do that because we wanted to work in factories. We were tired of small towns killing us.
Right. And getting away with it.
And getting away with it. And still getting away with it.
Still getting away with it.
But not on August 5th.
No. August the 5th was the day that it's gonna go down.
In fact, y'all can have Juneteenth back.
Not in a small town if you want to.
Yeah, we'll take August 5th now. Y'all can have Juneteenth back.
You know, I'm gonna see if my
I
job.
want to see y'all commercialize that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if my job will switch our holiday of June 19th to August the 5th. I'll wait 2 months for it. I'm here for it. Hey, Lori, what do you think about this? They actually did find the chair. Some ladies made sure that they found the chair. You can see here where there's a comic book called The Agents of Wakanda, featuring Aquaman,
Baba Blur,
Bama Blur, and Chair King.
Who my bad?
And speaking of Aquaman, there was a thing that came up with the top. I'm sorry, this is your open carry one.
Yeah.
I thought I had it. I must have not have brought it up, but there was.
Oh no, the delegation one.
Oh, that was a post that I did about the delegation. Yeah. But then there was another one. We talked about the Crocs. Look, if you're gonna get in a fight, don't wear no damn Crocs, bro.
they said you need to put them in sports mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the Crocs look like Crocs on the ends of his feet. Look like crocodile teeth on them.
I think, you know, a couple things. Like I say, we can laugh about it now because the captain wasn't seriously hurt, and that's a great picture. There's a lot of, and so what I will say this: the thing that caught me, because I got wind of this because I'm retired and I'm sitting on social media Monday morning, and so I see the clips of it, and then immediately I see the memes, and like the memes are hitting hard. There's a couple songs.
Yes.
That come out. There's T-shirts. There's embroidered hats. The folding chair stuff is just out. I mean, and so I love us so much because and again, full circle stuff. This goes back to why hip hop is so important to the culture and to the world and stuff, because black people are some of the most funny and creative and resilient people that you know, because actually this is trauma triggering type stuff. Like I said, a lot of stuff we talk about the small town, what it means to be black in America and the paranoia that you feel because I can't be perceived this way because it could end my life kind of thing. And so to be able to take that kind of trauma and turn it, which is, you know, one of the things that a majority of white people have never been able to understand about why we use the N-word as frequently as we do and stuff. You know, it's a reclamation of things that abuse us and have been traumatic to us, and trying to use those things in a more, I know people say it's not positive and stuff like that, and I don't particularly use it. I try to limit myself to about 10 times a year when I really mean it. But you know, it's just one of those things where you look at the commercialization of this event stuff and how people are looking at it as a unifying thing. You know, I hope it's one of those things that we unify at the polls. I hope we unify as a community. Again, I've said it and I beat this into the course in the ground, but there may be new viewers and stuff. One of the things that I say is that we need to stop having candidates that don't represent us, vote for them. We need to have our own party. Again, just throwing names out there, Black Panther Party, whatever, whatever party, and we should be taking our money, like there's Greenwood Bank that is Afrocentric. We need to have our politics Afrocentric and stuff. We need to have our communities that way and stuff. Again, because when we talk about that small town stuff, and we talk about the protection that our numbers provide us and stuff, A lot of people go, well, Jermaine, that sounds like segregation. I said, well, yeah, it does. A chair is still a chair.
Even if it's not there.
Yeah. I would say to you that the communities, our communities, were stronger when they were together.
Yeah.
And this kind of proves that too with the Alabama thing, is that we're stronger when we're together and we're focused, and we can't just let anybody just run up on us. Attack on one of us is attack on all of us.
Hey, Jermaine, there was a crew member named Chris that was on that boat that swam across, and he'd been given the name Aquaman. But there was a post, and my thing, it came up too small. So there was the top 10 names that were given to this young black hero.
Yeah.
Number 10 was Aquaman, which I thought was pretty good. There was another one called 21 Tilapia.
Yeah.
There was another one called Swimmy Turner, Tariq Swim Patrick, Catfish Cuz, Johnny Gills. I've heard this one a lot. Scuba Gooden Jr.
That's pretty good.
C Murder, but SEA. Martavius Phelps and Shaquille O'Gill.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, those are all the memes that I had. That was just I had to go into it a little bit because it was like, you know what? I could have had a whole bunch of other stories this week, but that was just absolutely crazy. The moral of the story is, y'all, you need to respect people, period, and not just feel like you have some sense of entitlement to just go all in, or you don't respect people's authority because they don't look like you. I totally believe if that had been a tall white guy named Jason, this wouldn't have even happened. Not at all.
They said, and I hate to interrupt you, they said that those guys had been causing trouble, and they had been using some derogatory language prior to that. So it's a lot of people have been speculating, well, it's not always a race thing. They didn't just do it. Yeah, actually, these guys had been talking some trash prior to that was racial. And so their attack on a black man fit their prior comments and stuff. And that's why a lot of people, now, quite honestly, black people looked at it and knew exactly what it was. But for some people that lack melanin, you're looking at it a little bit different and stuff. I get that. But I'm telling you, that's what it was. And it's not just respect. I know, again, Dred Scott said that you don't have to respect black people because inherently they're not citizens and they don't have any rights. So there's nothing there's no rights of theirs that you have to respect, or boundaries and stuff, or authority.
Or rights, you're not violating their rights because they don't have any.
They don't have any and stuff. And that's just not true. And yeah, you can fuck around and find out though.
That's it. So as we close the show today, we're going to go into, and Lori was ready this time, what I don't like is. Lori, floor is yours. Since you were so ready, you must have been hovering over that button.
Y'all go first. I gotta think about this one because I'm just still chuckling about point of view and the chair.
Jermaine, is there anything that you don't like this week? Funny enough, I was just so on the topics at hand. I actually kind of forgot about this part of the show, what I don't like. So I had to think, off the hand, what don't I like? What I don't like. So my dear brother told me, hey, Lyft is offering this kind of thing. Would you, go drive and stuff? And so I've been driving a little bit of Lyft because they had a referral special. And what I don't like is pulling up in a Ford F-150 to somebody's house for them to come knock on my window and go, is this ride for me? Who else would it be for? Why do you think I came to your house?
How many other F-150s are outside?
What? I don't like that. I don't like when people ask me questions. Like, I get it. Like the Beyonce concert, you've ordered your ride share, and there's lots of cars and stuff out there, and you don't know which one. I get it.
Yeah, they all-
But in sometimes your place of work, I pull up outside your place of work. There's no other cars out here. Who else would I be waiting on?
and and Jermaine, you know the part that drives me crazy with that, because I get that question a lot too, and I can't understand. I have a personalized license plate that says Empower. If you just said, I just saw your ass. Look at my license plate. Now, unless my creepy ass just carjacked somebody and decided to continue to do his route, it has to be me. The name, the face, the type of vehicle, and the license plate are all displayed to let you know who the driver is. I'm the only person out there with a personalized plate, which means nobody in the state of North Carolina can have a tag that says Empower on it. It's impossible. It has to be me. And you still open up the door and say, who are you here for?
Yeah.
Half time I'd be like, nobody.
Nobody.
I ain't here for nobody. Just sitting here jacking off. Just making some OnlyFans videos. Go to Devin Long, OnlyFans. Who the hell else would I be here for? Lady asked me why I got so mad about that one day, and I said, man, the plate matched, my face matched, and the vehicle matched.
Right.
How can all three of those things make you question where you're getting into? But I'm going to be honest with you. I only get that from white people. But anyway, but I get it. When I get it, which it is on a regular basis, that's it.
The other thing I don't like, and I'll be done, I don't like having to identify myself to pay bills, because who else is trying to pay my bills? And if they are, why are you stopping them?
I had somebody call me the other day about that. She says, I need to verify your social security number and this and that and the other. I said, I don't know you. I'm not verifying anything on the phone. In this day and age where there's so much identity fraud, she's like, well, if you got it wrong, I would tell you it's wrong. I was like, well, so what are we going to do? Play 21 questions until I tell you the right answer?
Yeah, tell you what, I'm going to give you 7 different numbers. You tell me which one's the right number.
Right. I'm not verifying that.
We're gonna do one truth and 2 lies.
We did get a I don't like from somebody named Sarah Parker. She doesn't like broke church folding chairs. Well, here's the problem. If there weren't a whole lot before, there may be a influx of broke folding chairs. You know what I don't like about them church chairs? They don't clean them good. They got rust on them. They old. They've been around for like 30, 40 years. They keep them in the storage shed. They pull them out for some event, and they got rust all over them. And you wear, your white clothes or whatever else, and you end up with rust stains on it. Then people sit there and think that's something other than rust. I don't really like that. I think if y'all been working on the building fund for the last 50 years, y'all can buy your ass some new folding chairs. I'm just saying. And then here's the thing. They don't have to be metal anymore. They do sell PVC, so they don't rust out like that. What you got for it?
Well, I guess on the same theme of asking dumb questions, don't ask me no dumb question, which you know the answer to. Absolutely. Don't. Because when I look at you like, and I don't answer you, and then they're like, well, what? I'm just asking that. Don't ask.
See, that to me, that's just the devaluation of education, where now people just feel that, they always used to tell you that no question is a dumb question. I want y'all to understand.
There is.
People are lying to you when they say that no question is a stupid question. They say the only question that's a stupid question is the one you never ask. No. Sometimes your ass don't need to ask the question. Sometimes the dumb question is the one that comes out your mouth. Don't listen to people that sit there and try to make you feel good about, the dumbest question you could ever ask is the one you never ask. Bull crap. Don't listen to them. People ask dumb questions all day, every day, because somebody done told them ain't no such thing as a dumb question. Just like they used to tell them, and I ain't gonna harp back on it, but there ain't no ugly babies in the world. Both of those are not true.
Hey, you know what I don't like? I don't like working for a living. Shout out to the person that won the Powerball and never had a baby again.
1.58 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you need me to
In
do
the
some
state
trains
of
for a little
Florida?
change, I'm game.
Yeah.
If you need me to do some trains for a little change, I'm game. Just check out my audition reel at Devin Long on OnlyFans, and you'll find all you need to know that I'm serious about this. Anyway, and I would like to close by saying thank you, Beyonce, for shutting down Charlotte, where they actually had to shut down the traffic starting at 11 a.m. for an 8 p.m. show. And just causing all of these Bay people in their silver boots and cowboy hats to look. That's the other thing I don't like.
That was the men.
Yes, that was the men with the sequins on. Do you, boo? Do you? Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna say the last one. What I was gonna say. I'll say that for the next time. But this is Brian Parker with Head to Head. Thank you for joining us for another week, streaming live on Amazon, Fire TV, Roku, LinkedIn, YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please go to, or if you want to go to YouTube, rather, go to our Empower TV link, click that bell so it'll let you know anytime we put up any new content whatsoever. And always to my Facebook Live audience, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. One final programming note, starting Wednesday at 7 p.m., Head to Head Sports with Brian Parker, me, and my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove, will be back right here, 7 o'clock, streaming on all 5 platforms to get you ready for the upcoming NFL season. We will start with breaking down 2 divisions a week, where we will dive into that. If you don't know, that means there's 8 teams that we will talk about every week leading up to the Thursday night football game. I believe that's going to be September the 7th or something like that. But anyway, we will have more for you then. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.